So today's assignment is a community map, and then I'm going to show you what I picked for mine. So for my school, I picked Drummond's Elementary School. So I hope you can see it all. This is a community map. Just let you look at it for a second. And so we're just going to start. So Drummond's is in a very rural area. And so there's not a lot to do. There's not a lot of restaurants. There's not a lot of extra parks, extra neighborhoods, or places like that. So we're just going to go ahead and dive right in. So this is mainly a rural area. So it does back up to the Mississippi River. So there's a lot of dirt roads, a lot of fields and stuff like that. There is a park right here. And that is where a lot of the students will spend their time after school. And once their parents come and pick them up, they want to get just giggles and wiggles out before heading home and working on homework. That's a good place to do that. So I'm going into restaurants. There is one right here, which is going to be called the Cafe. I think that is the only restaurant in Drummond's in the actual little town. So that's if they want to eat out and they don't want to go to one of these bigger cities on either side. This is going to be one of the only places for them. It's the Cafe. So right here, these little green buildings do represent churches. As you can see, there's a couple. I just did some of the big ones that I'm super familiar with, and this is going to be one of the Methodist churches that is in Drummond's. So I did little houses all over just because there's not a lot of neighborhoods, and if there are neighborhoods, most of the time the houses are still a couple acres apart. So that is pretty much just the little town of Drummond's. So either bigger cities, you can go either way. So we're going to have it this way, which is going to be the Millington way, or this way, which is the Mumford/Atoka. They are kind of sister towns. One side of the highway is Mumford, one side of the highway is Atoka. So just coming right here, if you go to Drummond's Elementary School, you do go to Mumford Middle or Mumford High School. There is no other school affiliated with Drummond's. You go directly to Mumford because they are both in Tipton County. So this will be their middle school. This will be their high school. I did add that as an important part of the community just because you do kind of have to town hop a little bit. And then you go down here. I did put the Sonic right here because a lot of older kids, middle school, high school, will spend some time there after school, just kind of congregating before heading home. So then we go here. This is going to be the library in Mumford. This is actually going to be in downtown Mumford. It is a pretty small public library, so I do not think a lot of kids really will spend their time here. I think if they're going to read, they're either they could do that there, or they're going to spend the majority of the time in the library of the school. But I did add that in there just because it is a part of the community, and I feel like that's more of an extracurricular with your family kind of outing and gathering. So there is a park right here, which is kind of has the same idea as Drummond's, just to kind of play after school. I know a lot of people, they had more of like a skating park and stuff like that, so if kids were interested into that, that's definitely a good place to go. And then I did just put a couple of random purple blobs, which is kind of just for restaurants. They do have a couple chains like McDonald's, Taco Bell, that kind of stuff, Subway, and they also do have a couple of mom and pop like the Olympic Steakhouse and stuff like that, but I just put those just to represent that there are restaurants there. I feel like whenever you have a couple cities and they're very far apart, it's really hard to put that on a map and be super accurate with it, but I did try to incorporate those. So then we're going to hop onto the Millington side. Oh, actually I forgot. On this Atoka side, there is a Kroger also, but there is no Walmart. So this is going to be one of the stores that they spend their money in. That's going to be mainly for groceries and things like that. So now going on to the Millington side, we do actually have a Walmart here. So that's a good place for school supplies. That's something that I think stores are very important for, is just to kind of get an idea of what could be expected of them for class. So with that Walmart, not too far away, that does kind of open up a variety of different school supplies. If they just had a Kroger or like a Dollar General or something like that, it might be a little bit harder to require some of the things. So just to make sure that they have adequate resources, I feel like a Walmart is a good place to keep in mind as a community. So I did put down here Starbucks and the Chick-fil-A. I feel like these do just represent that it's a little bit of a bigger town. They do have bigger name restaurants. They do also have a Huey's, Buffalo Wild Wings, Arby's, a lot of brand new stuff that really wasn't there whenever I was growing up, but they have added in the last couple of years. So continuing, there is a Millington library. If I did go to a library whenever I was younger, it was the Millington library. I feel like it was a little bit bigger. And really it's just, I guess, up to the student and their family life where they would end up going. And then there's just a couple churches and then more of those just random food places. So this is my community map. And just going in to describe my map, I have some notes over here. Explain why it is important to know these things. So I do feel like it's super important to know these things about your students, where they live, play, and stuff like that, where they live, the stores that they shop in, and stuff like that. It really helps to get to know their home life and their socioeconomic status. I feel like as a teacher, you have that big heart, and if your students are struggling, you really want to be someone that can kind of just jump in and help out where they are struggling to provide or something like that. If they need newer clothes that aren't ripped up, that are too big, that are too small, something like that, I feel like that's a good place to know just the community around you. I feel like most people are lower middle class people that do live out here, so that's important to keep in mind. Another thing is I just want to know what their sense of community is so that I can be better for them, so that we can be a team, so that we can work together, we can know more about each other, and also lend that helping hand when it's needed. Having an idea of their community helps to relate to them, understand their culture, understand who they are. It helps to connect to them and see what they like to do in their community, what they like to do in their free time, like parks and stuff like that. I remember going on field trip to parks, just a day. It wouldn't be an official field trip, but it would be. You still had to get your parents' permission and everything. I feel like that is a really good idea, just to know where your students like to spend time out of school. How can I incorporate this? I feel like this is a good activity to do with your students, just to kind of help to get to know their sense of community and their culture, and also to incorporate it between students and help better your view as a teacher. The more you know, the better you will be able to serve them. And another thing, how you can incorporate this into class is just, whenever you know more about one's community and their circumstances, their culture, etc., you can better create groups, you can better create activities, who meshes well, who doesn't mesh well, and that can really come in handy in the classroom setting. So that is my community map.